Well, AB Alta wins their home opener in league play. Naples extends their undefeated streak, and Greenville gets a late winner. And we are here to break it all down. Welcome to another episode of League One on the Rocks. My name is Rich. You can find me on Twitter and Blue Sky at I'm Rich But I'm Not. And that is co-host extraordinaire Brian. How you doing? You can find him on social media at Mediocre Ace.
Yeah, not too bad. Still kind of licking the wounds from the Union Omaha match last night. But other than that, pretty good. A little bit tired, so we'll see how tonight goes.
Yeah, should be a good one though. We got plenty to talk about.
Oh yeah,
I'm sure we'll cover that Omaha Richmond match at some point, but as much as may not want to.
I mean it. We'll talk about it when we get there. But I'm excited to
Yeah,
talk about it. That was a well done job by Richmond in that one.
it was. Yeah. Well, before we get too far, what are you drinking tonight?
I just have soda. I'm like I said, I'm a bit on the tired side today, so uh, power through the power through the podcast. So there's some soda. I actually had Broncos for dinner, so finishing out the soda
Oh,
from
never heard of
there.
that.
Oh, Broncos is good stuff, man.
Is it?
I like it. I mean, you'll if you're in Omaha, you'll find mixed opinions. Some people hate it, other people love it. I'm in the camp that actually loves it. So
Oh, wow. Okay. What kind of stuff do they have?
it's just a burger, just a general burger place. A little bit small. The burgers are a little bit small, but they get the job done.
Nice. So last week I mentioned that I bought two bottles of whiskey. One of them was a bourbon, and I am going to be drinking out of that one tonight. You can see that I got a little bit of work done on it
Yeah, you did.
in this bottle. um, this one is called Basil Hayden. It's a Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey. Um, it's from Frankfort, Kentucky, and it's 80 proof, and it's got sweet brown sugar, black pepper, and charred oak. That's the notes that it has with it. But yeah, pretty good.
Yeah, I like it. I've had a little bit of it. Definitely one to enjoy.
Yeah,
That's
especially when you're talking about League One action.
oh yes, the crazy crazy League One action.
Well, look, we got some news coming out of or from across the league. Um, Looks like we had some kits coming out here recently. We had Union Omaha unveil their trackside kit. We had Texoma releasing their midnight kit. Quite a few kits out there so far. Which one's been your favorite so far?
Uh, I think I speak for a lot of people that I've seen online when I say the Portland Hearts of Pine kits is especially my favorite is their green one, the collared long sleeve one. Personally, that's the one I like the best. But it's really hard to argue with Portland for that one. Um, I will say after seeing Tormenta's kit this weekend against the Red Wolves, I do like that one a lot too.
I like yeah, Portland is an easy one. I mean, everyone's gonna love that one. I love the simplicity of Naples. It looks it's just a clean look.
Yeah,
Um, and then I love Avialta's color palette. So the stuff that they do with, especially with their crest, I mean, I just love their color palette. So obviously, when they translate that to a kit, it's going to look good in my opinion. So I like it.
yeah. I mean, there's not really one this season that that I don't like. Well, maybe that's not completely true, but um, yeah. I mean, there's quite a few good ones out there. Those are the two or two or three for me that really kind of stick out though.
I'm hoping Red Pandas make a comeback.
Red Panda is always a good one. I'll still make the joke and then get raked over the coals for it, but
They should just keep that on their kits just for the hell of it.
that would be pretty cool. I'd
Yeah,
enjoy that. Got to have those little inside jokes too.
exactly. Another bit of news coming out from across the league. This one just came out earlier this week, I think. Um, we're getting requests for you to spill the beans.
Yeah, I see that. We got little Koozie and Scarf Boy in the chat. So Scarf Boy, I don't like Union Omaha's home kit. I I think the look of it is just not very good. It's really confused kind of feeling. I'm not a huge fan of it at all.
And that's perfectly okay.
Hey man, it's just one dude's opinion. I think a lot
Yeah.
of people were expecting me to say something about Forward Madison's, but if you're a longtime listener of the show, you know that I actually love Forward Madison's kids 99% of the time.
The recent idea they had with the melted ice or the broken ice or whatever, that was actually a good idea.
Hmm.
Um, I mean, it fits perfectly with the Madison weather during the winter, especially if you're releasing it early in the season, so you're coming out of winter. Um, and if you've ever seen like icebergs, it has those, the translation or the gradients in the melted ice in those different layers. So yeah, I thought that was a good idea.
Hmm. Yeah, I like it.
And then Little Koozie, yeah, they like Basil Hayden too.
Good stuff.
Yeah. But going back to the other news around the league, Hearts has a brilliant idea for their ticketing. I don't know if you saw this. Their community ticketing program. So, as it's described in the article, over the course of the 2025 season, 1,400 tickets will be distributed to the City of Portland's Office of Economic Opportunity, Portland Public Schools, local youth soccer organizations, the Portland Housing Authority, and Maine Health for those organizations to distribute to in need members of their respective communities as they see fit.
Hey man, anytime you get some team out there supporting the local community, I mean that's what it really what it's all about. So I mean that is the best way to get people out to matches and to support the local area and get people on your side there. So uh huge kudos over there for Portland for that one.
Yeah. It kind of reminds me of Spokane's kit last year where they had the QR code on the front so you could donate to the community.
Hmm.
But Portland is doing a little bit of a twist on this idea, and they're finding a way to bring the fans into the stadium instead. And I think it's great.
Yep.
Portland's doing a great job of building, those relationships in the community. But what better way to do that than to distribute 1,400 tickets across the entire season? There are people out there in the community that want to go to the match who see all the great things that are happening at the stadium and in the news and social media. They want to be a part of that. Maybe they can't afford it. Maybe they have to, I don't know, buy eggs instead. Um, so give them tickets. Not every single one of those seats in the stadium is going to be taken. So yeah, give tickets out there. Let people into the stadium. I think it's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah. And I mean it's just a great way to show that you support your community. And it goes a lot further than that too, because you'll get people that, maybe this season they're unable to come to matches, but maybe next season or a few seasons from now, and people get in better financial situations a lot. Um, so, by doing just a simple gesture of giving away unused seats, you are potentially creating fans for life that will end up coming back to you. And on top of that, most of the time teams make money through concessions anyway. So it's a win-win. You get people into the stadium, even if they're not willing to spend money on tickets, maybe they buy a soda, some popcorn, something like that. Even if it's just those little small things. I mean, it all contributes to it. And like I said, you make fans for life doing stuff like that. Anytime you can do anything special for the community, you're going to be remembered as the organization that did that. So, I mean, just wins all around there.
Totally agree. I think it's a great idea. I think more teams across League One should do it, across USL should do it. Not only Championship, League Two, like just get as many people into the stadium. This what it, they call soccer the beautiful game, but they also call it the people's game, don't they?
Mhm.
So give it to them. I understand there's that whole balance of, you know, we don't want to just like let these fans expect to have tickets and create that sort of economic imbalance and all that kind of stuff. Whatever.
Sure.
Yeah, just get fans in the stadium, let them have a great time.
Hmm. Completely
Speaking of
agree.
having a great time, Coach of the Month, FC Naples. Man, is he having a great time to start the season? Holy crap.
Yeah. I mean, 5 matches played, 11 points, 3 wins in those 5 matches, and a +6 goal differential. I mean, that that's really a no-brainer for that. I think you could also honorable mention Darren Sawatsky, and for Richmond, I mean, 5 matches sitting on 9 points. That's not too shabby either. But yeah, I mean, Matt Poland over down in FC Naples. I mean, you start the season with this much intensity and much hype and the results on the pitch. I mean, what more can you really ask for as an expansion club?
Yeah, and we have that expansion survivor graphic that we repost week after week. And I got to tell you, it's exciting trying to update the graphic and putting green check marks for FC Naples. Like it's that will they, won't they balance here. And it's a lot of fun. It's a fun one to watch.
Oh yeah. And it will continue to be fun for a while, I have a feeling. With just how they're playing right now, I mean, it's tough to see a loss on the remaining part of this first part of the season.
You know, Lil Kuzi coming in saying Basil Hayden made a rum barrel aged bourbon and is still one of my favorites. It was a limited release like 6 years ago. Ooh, I would love to drink that.
Well, I find one, it'd just be very expensive at this point.
Yeah, probably. Especially 6 years ago. Yeah. All right. So we can jump straight into the week five recaps. We had some fun matches in week five. To start it off with, Saturday night, Chattanooga hosting Tormenta. I was on the fence on this one. I originally had Tormenta winning, but then I ultimately switched it to Chattanooga winning. But three penalties three out of the four goals in this match were penalties.
Yeah, crazy match. I mean, it's kind of what we thought it was going to be, a kind of a physical match that both teams really tried to impose their will. Um, and I mean, there were parts of this match where it looks like it could have gone either way, and really in the end, that 88th minute penalty, I thought for sure after um, the Sebastian Vivas goal, I thought that was it. Tormenta looked like they had all the momentum at that point, and all it took was a nice run into the box for Chattanooga to get that penalty. And the 88th minute, that's hard to come back. Try to come back and win a match, especially on the road, um, when you give up a tying goal so late. So um, I think it is just insane that we saw 3 penalty kicks, and it feels like there's been a ton of penalties already this season. And I think that is metric is going to continue moving forward.
I'm so glad you mentioned that because I actually have some stuff here on that. So far this season, we've had 10 penalties in
It's
22
just
matches. That equals one penalty, or we've had at least a penalty in 45.5% of the matches so far this season, which is the most that we've ever seen in a season. If you look at some of the previous seasons, the closest we've ever had was back in 23 when we had 43.8 of the regular season matches featuring a penalty kick. From there, the closest from there drops down to 30.7% back in 2019. I mean, just last season, little over 27% of the matches featured a penalty kick, and we're sitting here at 45.5%.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
So
it's
it begs the question, is this a sign of early season rustiness from players, from coaches, from referees? Are referees applying the new laws too often, too harshly, or is this a sign of something else?
I just think there has been I don't really recall any penalties that came up that were so egregious that I couldn't see it being a penalty. I think everything has been pretty decently well called. Um, and that is a big leap for me to say uh, on this show. But um, I think it is more just a sign of players are figuring out that a lot of goals are being scored inside the box close to the goal. We're not seeing a ton of goals this season from outside the box. So I think players are figuring out, okay, this is what works against these keepers right now. So their willingness to go into the box and maybe draw some more penalties like that have gone up significantly this season. So I think it's something that's going to kind of continue. But I mean, we never know. It is still pro referees, so eventually, I'm sure there'll be a few calls that nobody is going to agree with. But moving forward, I think we'll continue to see this aggressiveness getting into the box, and I think it is going to lead to more penalties. And I would not be surprised at all if we finish this season around this same 45% mark.
Wow. Okay. All right. We'll have to keep track of that one too.
More things to keep track of.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, by virtue of this draw, Chattanooga still remains undefeated. Did you see them going undefeated this and finishing week 5?
Um, I did not see that happening. Um, But also, I mean, we kind of do have to put it into perspective too. They're undefeated, but they're also winless. So it, I mean, it amounts 3 matches, 3 draws. It's not going to win you any style points. It's not the sexy way to get points, but I do think it kind of shows the resolve of this Chattanooga team this season. Um, I think coming off the back of last season, I think they probably felt like that wasn't their best effort. There was some turmoil in the club. There were some issues that needed to get sorted out, and I think they're starting to start that process of figuring out how to play as a team again. And I know for this match, it looked like the Den was a little bit barren, which we're not really used to seeing it so barren so early. But I think if this Chattanooga team continues to go without a loss, I think that's definitely going to help numbers. But I know also it's the early part of the season. A lot of places right now still don't have the greatest weather in the world. We're still dealing with that. So um, I didn't see this coming, but it's going to be hard to try to see a huge weakness in this team. I mean, you had in this match against Tormenta, I mean, like I said, did not have the momentum after Vivas's goal, and Chattanooga came back and took it back over and finished it with a draw. So that takes resolve, and over the course of a season, resolve like that is going to get you places.
Yeah, and especially having to claw back the way that they did. Um, they never held the lead in this match. And so for them to preserve this streak and do so having to claw back from behind both times speaks to the heart and the character of this Chattanooga team. This is a team that teams are going to be having a lot of trouble with this season.
Yep,
I
I
know there
agree.
was some talk, at the beginning of the season about the unknowns associated with this team, but we're seeing some of the things to look out for when it comes to Chattanooga. When we dive into some of the club news, Tormenta had some recent news. They signed a defender named Finley O'Brien. The 18-year-old signed a USL Academy contract with El Paso Locomotive. In the club's article, Tormenta says that he made his professional debut in the Open Cup for El Paso, quote unquote, in a 2-0 win over Union Omaha. I think you mean 2-0 loss to Union Omaha.
Yeah.
A nice try.
Uh yeah, I mean, you can't fault somebody for trying to throw a little shade in there, but uh I mean, fun fact as, another team that hasn't beaten Union Omaha, um El Paso Locomotive, but I mean, an 18-year-old academy kid coming out of El Paso signing for Tormenta. Tormenta's made some pretty big moves this offseason and coming into the beginning part of the season. I think this is definitely one that it's needed. 'Cause if we go and look at where Tormenta's sitting, they're sitting with a -2 goal differential right now, allowing 9 goals, which is the most in the league right now, even more goals than last place Texoma. So, um, allowing a lot of goals. So getting a defender in, even an 18-year-old kid, I mean, he has championship experience, and we can say that it's the barriers between the two are not that great, but he has experience, and that is something that this tormented defense is going to need moving forward.
Yeah, and I think Tormenta has close to 5 players on their roster that came from the Tormenta Academy.
Ooh, I have to look that up, but it sounds about right. Yeah, it looks like a lot.
Yeah,
There's a few teams in the league this season that have decided to go pretty young.
yeah. But at the same time, as embracing the youth, they also have that high veteran presence as well to help with all that coaching and the mentorship. So that's really good too.
Hmm.
But per head coach Ian Cameron from Tormenta, he said about Finley O'Brien, he speaks up on the field in the group settings, is always dialed into sessions, and that platform of presence at all times will provide him opportunities. An 18-year-old walking into a locker room, walking onto the pitch, the training grounds, and making his presence known like that. Oof, man, that's good for him. You don't find that very often.
No, that's a veteran move by an 18-year-old kid coming in, and I'm sure that's probably one of the reasons why they signed him. Um, Having guys like that put in that workman like come to work, I do my job and I do it well. That's the best guy that you can bring into a locker room. Um, and I mean, just going in and if he speaks on the field too, I mean, it's even better when you have a kid coming in that knows his craft this well that he can come into the group setting on the field and command stuff. I mean, it's especially being a defensive player. I mean, that's your backbone. You want those guys talking, you want those guys active. So, just rave reviews coming for him. So I'm excited to see what uh what he has for this league.
Yeah, that'll be cool. We did have a question related to both Chattanooga and for Tormenta. This one comes from Shadow Wolf. You can find him both on Twitter and on Blue Sky with the screen name Der Schattenwolf. I hope I'm saying that right. I am not good with German. I did not take German in school. I took Spanish, so that one's foreign to me. But anyways, Shadow Wolf comes in and says, who should get the new logo first? Red Wolves because of the copyright claim, or Tormenta for not being confused with a pelican anymore?
I mean, Tormenta's got the star above the crest. You can't really change that. And I think it's got to be Chattanooga. Um, I don't even know if that copyright claim came like down and it's decided and done, or what the hell is even going on with it. But I still think it has to be Chattanooga out of the two, just because of the star above the crest. My personal preference between the two would be that Tormenta changes, but they can't do that. I mean, you got the star, you got the respect.
Yeah. So because you're saying Chattanooga should they embrace the blue crosstown rivals and just drop the moniker and go with Chattanooga SC instead of Chattanooga FC?
Oh man. Uh oof. I think the only way to make that better would be to put the in big capital letters, the Chattanooga SC. And there you go. That's just how you do it. And then it'll be like an Ohio State thing where they get really mad at you if you don't say the Ohio State University, like the Chattanooga Soccer Club. I think that's the way to go. Granted, I can be a petty person at times, so that would be what I would personally do. But I suppose there's probably also a reason why I'm not the head of their uh, their logo design team.
I once knew somebody from um, who went to the Ohio State, and if I said the Ohio State, they would get angry with me and say, "No, it's the Ohio State."
It's just Ohio State.
Just taking it to another level. Oh my gosh, drove me nuts.
It's just Ohio State University. I mean, oh, honestly, when people say like the Ohio State University or correct me for saying the Ohio State University, it makes me think of that line in Joe Dirt where he's like he asked him what his name is. Like, your name is Joe Dirt. He's like, actually, it's Deer Tay. And he says, don't try to church it up, son. Like, that's exactly how I feel anytime anybody says, no, it's the Ohio State University. No, it's not. It's Ohio State.
That's awesome. I love how you brought them into the conversation. That was great.
So yeah, the Chattanooga Soccer Club. I think I might just start calling them that now, and just out of spite.
Man, that would be so good if they actually did that. Someone sitting there in Chattanooga, like, ooh, yeah, that's actually a good idea.
I mean, listen, you can rename the team, or you can call them something else. Chattanooga FC fans when you beat them. How about that? I'll make that deal with you.
Good point. They planted the flag. Can't
Yeah,
argue with it.
been planted. Plus, my personal opinion, red is a better color than blue. Obviously, you can tell by the lights behind me. So,
Yeah, I agree. All right, moving on to the other Saturday evening match. This one also kicked off at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Greenville with the late winner over Charlotte.
yeah, another late winner. I will say the matches this past weekend were, if you like defensive, there was a match for you. If you like offense, there was a match for you. If you like back and forth, kind of seat of your pants action, there was a match for you. I mean, this was perfect. And this one, I mean, it's so hard to tell with these two teams exactly what's going to happen. I feel like every time these two teams play, it's been close. And I know the scoreline was close. The match itself, a little bit more in Greenville's favor, I will say. I think Greenville just had a better plan in this one to be able to combat Charlotte. Um, Granted, putting 16 shots in and 6 of those on target, that'll do it too. But overall, for me, this was just one of those matches where Greenville came in and it honestly kind of felt like they were ready for a fight, and Charlotte did what Charlotte does. You don't know what team's going to show up. They looked all right. About 50% or so, 51, 49, something like that for possession, at least it seemed like. So, I mean, you got to give kudos to Greenville. Charlotte's a good squad. So to come in there or to get a victory against them, I mean, what more can you ask for? And of course, you're going to hear his name a ton. Leo Castro getting the goal in the 86th minute of all things too. That's about as Greenville as it gets.
Yeah. Um, yeah. Leo Castro. Um, Dude is good. Dude is so good. Um, I was genuinely worried about Greenville replacing, uh, all of their offensive firepower they had last season. Nope, no worries this season. They have a solid unit across the board where anyone can step in and provide those finishes. And this time around, it was Leo Castro.
Mhm.
Was Robles the one that was dribbling along the goal line? Like he
I,
took the corner and then went straight up the goal line and fed it in?
I believe so.
That was crazy. Like to take the corner and then have the audacity to go along the goal line toward the goal, just crazy.
Hmm.
That was a really good play to set up the goal. So good for Charlotte for I'm sorry, good for Greenville for getting that win. We did have a little bit of news out of Charlotte. A week ago, the club announced the signing of forward Juan David Moreno. The Colombian joins after playing in the second highest division of Colombian soccer. Per head coach Mike Jeffries, he says he's a dynamic attacking player with the ability to take players on 1v1 and get behind them with his running. He's comfortable wide on either side and will provide added flair and quality to our attack. He just released the entire scouting report on his new signing right there.
Yeah, I wonder if that's more of a thing like you would have seen this anyway. And guess what? I'm going to tell you what's going to happen, and you're still not going to be able to do anything about it. I wonder if that's a
Yeah.
little bit of maybe a little bit of hubris or something coming in. But I mean, I you can't fault the guy. I mean, if you look at some of his highlights, you'll find it. You'll see it. Um, I think it's going to be a welcome addition to Charlotte's squad. Um, Charlotte kind of, not even kind of, really lacking in the goal department this season. With only one goal this season, that's not something that you're used to seeing out of the Charlotte squad. So bringing in a little bit of extra firepower to really get over that hump, because that was one of the things that was holding them back last year was the inability to score a lot of goals. So they had the players to do it last year. They just couldn't make it happen. So going out there and grabbing somebody who is known for that kind of thing is definitely going to raise their chances of making it into the playoffs this season.
And I'm so glad you talked about the scoring stuff because it leads perfectly into uh, an impromptu question that I have for you. Because up until this match against Greenville, Charlotte was undefeated. Now that they've lost and being shut out in this loss, we can look back and see, is there something to be worried about here?
I mean,
They were undefeated heading into this match, but
yeah.
with this being their third league match, they've only scored one goal.
Hmm. Yeah. I mean, there's only the only other teams that have one goal or zero goals are sitting in 13th and 14th in the standings right now. So Charlotte being up in seventh place right now. Granted, we're so early to be talking about where you're sitting in the rankings. I mean, the season's only 5 weeks old, but um, yeah, I mean, I think the when you see a pattern forming from last season, being the inability to score, and then you're starting off the season in the same boat, it doesn't really inspire a whole lot of confidence. And I think, I mean, it's no secret that the Charlotte has a bit of an attendance problem. They have a ton of other stuff. I get it. I understand. But at the same time, if you're not scoring goals, especially at home, you're not going to be drawing a ton of fans because that's what, let's be honest, a lot of casual fans are going to want to come in and see goals. That's what sells tickets. So your inability to do that last season is probably part of the reason why you're having a little bit of an attendance issue this year. Um, but um, bringing in pl- bringing in players like Juan David Marino is going to get butts in seats, especially if he goes on a a scoring rampage and is doing it in the way that Mike Jeffries is saying that he's going to be able to do it, that'll put butts in seats. So I think definitely Charlotte has something to kind of look out for. But it also seems like they're making moves to rectify that situation. So good on them for kind of recognizing that and getting the ball rolling this early in the season.
Yeah, and I pose that question, but at the same time, I don't want to make this seem as if we are genuinely concerned about Charlotte Independence. I don't think there's a terrible amount to be worried about when it comes to Charlotte. When if you look at the greater picture here, in the first round of the Open Cup, they played Long Island Rough Riders, wasn't it? Rough Riders?
Hmm.
Yeah, Rough Riders, League Two team, um, and certainly not a League Two team to sleep on.
Nope.
Second round, they played Carolina Core, which is a decent MLS Next Pro team, and they had to go to extra time to beat both of those. So Charlotte does have that fight in them to be able to fight through adversity, and I mean, as we've seen, prevail. We're waiting for that to translate a little bit more over to the league side. But I mean, even in this match against Greenville, you're on the road, you're in Paladin Stadium, and you took Greenville all the way to the what was it, the 84th, 88th, 86th minute.
86 minute. Yep.
So yeah, I'm not worried about Charlotte.
No, no, there's not really a reason to be. Not yet,
Yeah.
anyway. I mean, season's still very young, so I still think sitting here right now, I still think that they're probably more than likely a playoff team. But I mean, it kind of just remains to be seen as we move forward, which is the great thing about our league. That's why we watch sports. It's not played on paper. It's actually played out on the pitch. So
Yep. And you mentioned just a minute or two ago about if you wanted goals, there was a match for you. Our next match, Saturday, 8 p.m. kickoff Eastern Time, Naples with a 3-0 victory over Texoma in Sherman Stadium.
yeah, um, it's hate doing this every single week with Texoma, but does this result shock anybody that watches League One soccer? I don't think so. I mean, you have FC Naples right now, the best team in the league, um, against the worst team in the league right now in Texoma, and it looked like it in this match. FC Naples was really able to do whatever they wanted whenever they wanted in this one, and it's kind of you get both ends here because you're excited as a fan of the league to see an expansion side doing as well as FC Naples is. But then it sucks when you see another expansion side doing as poorly as Texoma is, um, which is unfortunate because Texoma has done the other things right. I mean, their branding is on point. Their social media has been on point. Their I mean, their crest, their colors, their kits, everything. I mean, except for the play on the field and the stuff surrounding the actual matches, Texoma's done it right. So, I mean, this again, it sucks to say, but no, not a single person that watches League One consistently would have taken Texoma over FC Naples in this one. But all
Yeah.
bias aside, you just wouldn't have because Texoma has shown nothing that has given you any indication that they could beat a team like FC Naples yet. And I do say
Yeah,
yet because it could get
across
turned
all of
around.
our social media platforms when it came to the voting for this match, only one person voted for Texoma FC. Everyone else, I think there was maybe one vote for a draw. Everyone else was flat out Naples. I mean, that
Yeah.
it was a dominant voting.
I would like to see if those two votes came from the Texas or Oklahoma border area.
Yeah, good point. And I will just say this. I was watching the end of this match, and I was seeing that it was 2-0 Naples. And I knew that you had a 2-0 score line for Naples, and I had the 3-0. And the whole time I was just like, come on, Naples, come on, Naples, do it, do it, do it. And wouldn't you know, it's my man Jake Dengler who came through for me.
Yeah. Must have listened to the show and wanted to get you that exact OW.
Jake Dengler, I drink to you.
Oh man.
But we
So
also have some questions. Oh,
yeah, that's where
we
I was
also had
headed
some
next.
questions in social media. Again, from Shadow Wolf. You can find him on Blue Sky and Twitter at DerShattenWolf. Shadow Wolf comes in and says, what does Texoma need to do as soon as possible to be a solid first-year team?
Um, how do you say completely retool everything that they're doing in a nice way? Um, I mean, it's not like Texoma has a bad lineup of players. None of the players that play in this league are bad players. I do think their issue comes down to not being able to really find themselves during a match. They always seem like they are a little bit unsure. So I don't know if that comes down to some of the coaching that's being done, and just not getting through. Maybe some of the players, it's going to take them a little bit longer to kind of understand and move forward with what the coaching staff wants them to do. Uh, maybe we should see some switch ups in the lineup. Maybe we should see some switch ups in the formations that they're using. But so far, what they have been doing is it's not working, and I don't really have like a super solid grasp on what they would need to do outside of you know signing Lionel Messi or so just blowing the entire budget for the next 10 years on some player from Europe, you know. And even then who knows, because this league is full of guys that I'm sure would be willing to play those players every single week and would love to improve their stock moving up by saying that they could defend those players. So I don't know. I mean, honestly, there's a lot that needs to change with Texoma. And I think what they really need to do is just kind of regroup and find their actual identity. They don't have one yet, and if you cannot play this league without having an identity, you see it with every single team that gets talked about at length week in and week out. The Knoxvilles, the Greenvilles, the Omahas, the Madisons. They have identities. They play the same every single week. When you play Knoxville, you're coming into a team that would love to play defense against you for 90 minutes and steal one at the 90th minute. It's Teams have MOs, and you have to have that to be in this league, and you have to do it well. Doesn't matter if they know what's coming if you play well enough. So to me, I think they really need to focus in on one or two players that they want the ball to play through at all times and work a system around those players.
And to build off your point right there, I'm going to say his name as many times as I can because I am a firm believer that he is the core. He is the guy for Texoma. He did have a red card for this match, so he wasn't able to be on the pitch. But Ajmir Spengler, center mid for Texoma, this is your guy. You watch him play, he's constantly scanning the pitch. When he gets the ball, he's got his head up the entire time scanning. When he puts his passes in, he's able to get through those windows, or he's able to get the ball over the top. Ajmir Spengler is your guy. Like, it has to go through him. You plan your tactics around him. he's the most solid guy that you have. I will also say this. I think you were onto something genuinely like on the point when you were talking about what Texoma should be doing, because I have some notes here. Texoma's played 3 matches, and they currently have 24 players on their roster if you look at their club website. But if you look at their stats, 11 players have seen action in all 3 matches. Of those 11 players, only 6 have ever been subbed off. So you have a total of 13 players who have over 100 minutes, which means that you have 11 other players who haven't received a single minute of league action. You have 4 players who have just a handful of Ricardo Pepi. Yes, he's injured, but he has 90 minutes so far. Teddy Baker has 45 minutes. Patrick Stasuki or Stasuki. I don't. That's a last name I'm going to butcher. I'm going to sorry. I didn't see a pronunciation thing for it. He has 27 minutes, and then Donald Benamna has 18 minutes. The rest of the players on the roster don't even have a single minute of play so far this season. So if you're talking about what Texoma needs to do, mix it up. That's the biggest thing that I'll say. Mix it up. You even have 2 extra goalkeepers. Now, obviously, Carlos Aviles, I think he's their goalkeeper, isn't he? Yeah, Carlos Aviles is their goalkeeper. You want to keep him in the goal because he's a proven goalkeeper. But at the same time, like look at the players that are on the back line or in the midfield want to try themselves up at being a striker. If you don't have the cohesive effort that you're looking for, the genuine chemistry that you're looking for among the players that you have been playing so far, and you have players that are itching to get out on the pitch, I mean, in the 53rd minute, you're down 2-0. Not trying to be brutal here, but with the players that you had on the pitch, did you really see that you had a chance in the last half hour of the match to really change things? Just throw some new players in there, see what they can do under a high intensity match like Naples, see if they can prove themselves. Maybe you find somebody who can step up into the limelight and shine.
Hmm. Yeah, I completely agree.
I wasn't going to break it down to anything, like tactic wise. I'm just looking at basic things like roster management at this point.
Well, and unfortunately, that's really the only thing you can break it down to because watching all of Texoma's matches, there hasn't been a whole lot of cohesion or tactics to be able to talk about. I mean, you can kind of see that they're trying to do some things, but when they don't work, it just seems like the team doesn't have that spine, that backbone to really bend and not break. It seems like at the first sign of adversity in a match, this team breaks, and it's unfortunate. But I mean, that also brings up the next question here from Shadow Wolf: Is FC Naples the real deal? And
Yes.
yeah, as far as that goes, yeah, I think everything that we just said about Texoma, flip it in the positive, and that is FC Naples. I mean, they know exactly who they are. They know what each player's strength is and how to utilize them on the pitch, and they go through adversity and fight through it. I mean, it's when you watch FC Naples play, if you didn't know they were an expansion side, you would assume that this would have been an original from the 2019 season. They play with that much presence. They play like the teams that have been here since the beginning of this league, that have figured out how to play in this league and consistently do it well. And for an expansion side coming in, yes, I know we have talked about it multiple times that expansion sides generally in this league have had a pretty decent track record of coming in and playing well. Um, but for them to come in and we're 5 weeks through the season and they're sitting in first place, I mean, granted, with the only other team that's played as many matches as them is Richmond. Everybody else, and Richmond and Greenville, everybody else is 1 to 2 matches behind them. But at the same time, I, it, it's really hard to look at FC Naples and see any weaknesses in their game. They are just a well coached, well played team.
Oh my gosh, how are you like perfectly feeding me the my next line? Because you just talk about a well coached team. We just highlighted the fact that he it was the coach of the month for what was it, March, April, whatever it was, March. We won't
March.
go into
Yep.
April. Yeah, Matt Poland. I don't know if you know that name, but before he was with Naples, he was with Chicago House AC. Now, if you think back to Open Cup play, this is the team that beat Bavarian United, I think, and then the next round beat Forward Madison, and then went to face off against Chicago Fire, where they ultimately lost. But Matt Poland knows how to coach a team,
Hmm.
and he's done it against League One teams before he was even in League One.
Yep.
So you have a great front office who is killing it. You have a coach who is proven against League One competition and against other higher levels. Then you bring in players like Lalo Delgado in goal, who proved himself at Northern Colorado. You have Breck Evans and you have Jake Dangler as your center backs. And then you start building the offense in front of him. Yeah, they this is an FC Naples team that yes, they are for real. Um, and we there were plenty of question marks just because of the fact that they were an expansion side, but Naples is the real deal,
Hmm.
wholeheartedly.
Yep.
And it's not just because of one singular factor, it's because of all these things coming together. But the fact that you have Matt Poland leading the charge, great way to start it.
Hmm. Yeah, and I mean, we have Zach in the chat as well, saying, "I said it once and I'll say it again. FC Naples doing everything right, and the ownership group has the knowledge and the money to dominate this league. Put the gate Nico Cantor for the love of God, dude watches every league in the world." Listen, I mean, you can't argue with it. I mean, money is going to do a whole lot for you, but if you have a good ownership group, that will bring you further than anything else in this league. Um, I firmly believe every team that has won a title in League One has had a good ownership group, and that is just how it is. Good ownership is going to do a lot of things for you. Money doesn't hurt. I'll definitely give you that. I mean, the ownership group that FC Naples has definitely has some money to spend on their players, but at the same time, it's not like they went in and bought ringers, from the English Premier League and brought them here. Like, no, they just were that talented in their scouting to pick out guys that were coming off of contract or guys that could be taken from other teams that were top performers for those teams and were lured to FC Naples, whether it be for the money. I honestly feel like the fact that it's in Florida has a big thing to do with it too, because nice weather brings people to it. So if you have money and a great location, I mean, you're really playing with a stacked deck at that point. So, I mean, they're just playing the hand that was given to them, and they're playing it to perfect execution.
Agree. Well, we did have a first late match on Saturday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Time kickoff. Spokane hosting Portland Hearts of Pine.
Yeah, and
0-0.
yeah, I want every single person that was in the chat that said anything. I mean, I know I picked Portland to win, right? But at the same time, I got a lot of flack for picking Portland to win that match. The fact that they drew this match, I mean, I feel a little bit I feel like a little bit of sorries are supposed to be headed my way here pretty soon because they didn't play a bad match against a very good velocity team.
True. Yeah. You feel redeemed, huh?
No, because I'm still behind in the fan vote and everything. So I still don't feel redeemed quite yet, but um season's short. And I mean, this wasn't a performance for Portland that you're gonna write home about. Um it's a nil-nil draw against a very good Spokane Velocity team. And the thing that you can take a lot from if you're a Portland fan is you faced 14 shots against a team that usually if they get 14 shots, some of them are going in the net. So, 2 shots on target and you basically played 60-40 possession against a team that can kill you with possession and you played that well to get a draw. Yeah, that's a big step up for these guys.
Yeah.
So I won't say that I told you guys so, but definitely watch out for Portland.
Okay. So Portland remains undefeated across all competitions. In league play, both of their matches have been nil-nil draws. We finally feel like we can say that we've seen Portland tested. They went on the road to Naples, nil-nil. They went on the road to Spokane, nil-nil. So, what are our thoughts on Portland?
Listen, man, those are two teams that can pour it on you. I mean, we've seen both of them do it. Um, maybe a bit of a defensive minded team here, maybe another shades of Knoxville. Um, Knoxville in their first season playing very defensively, unable to score anything. Um, but you know what? That they're gonna have to steal some points. They're gonna have to start scoring goals to get some more points because I mean you could nil draw every single match and miss the playoffs. So they're gonna have to find an offense. Um, will they? I don't know, man. Their offensive form is has not looked amazing. Um, a little disjointed at times. I'm gonna chalk that up to being an expansion side. Personally, I'm gonna have to get some more time seeing Portland play to really kind of break it down and really get a better idea about them. But so far, I mean, you play two top teams and you hold them both to nil-nil draws. That's good enough for me.
Yeah, and you mentioned about how they're going to have to find their offense. They're going to have to find it real quick because this weekend they go on the road to Tormenta, and then next week they host Rhode Island in the Open Cup.
Yeah, yeah. And Tormenta sitting here on 7 goals scored. That is tied for second place in the league right now for goals scored. So they're going to be coming up against a team, as you kind of alluded to, Rich, that knows how to score. So
Yeah.
they're that defense is going to have to bend not break like they have been for sure.
Yep. All right. On the other side of the coin, we have Spokane. Bit of a Jekyll and Hyde beginning to the season. I know that some people we're seeing growing mentions of Lexington 2.0. Are you ready to declare it officially?
No, no. I mean, they're one win, 2 draws, 1 loss. 6 goals scored, only 3 allowed. I mean, no. I think anybody that's calling this Lexington 2.0 at this point of the season is jumping the gun a little bit. It still remains to be seen. We still have a lot of time, but there's also if you remember last season at this point, I don't remember what Lexington had done, but I don't even think they had won a match to this point of the season last season. So I feel like last season we really found out pretty early that Lexington wasn't wasn't that put together. And I think we chalked it up to a lot of big time players being put into one team and trying to find who was going to be the guy. Um, I don't think you have that sort of identity crisis with Spokane. I think I mean, hell, they went to the final last season. This is a team that knows what they're doing. So um, I think any calls for Lexington 2.0 at this point in the season are a little bit premature. And I say that knowing full well that I may have moved my hand towards that alarm early in this season.
So you mentioned Lexington last season. At this point in the season last year, Lexington had one win and one draw, and they were just coming out of a four straight loss streak.
Yeah. So the losses are not there. And I think that's the big one. Because if you draw matches, yes, nobody wants to draw matches. You want to win every match, but getting points is getting points at a certain point. So um yeah, I still think they'll be just fine moving forward.
Yeah, I agree. And looking ahead for Spokane, they host Texoma this weekend, and then they go to Avialta next weekend before starting the Jaeger Cup with Oakland Roots at home.
Oof.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm gonna hold my tongue. I think I bashed Texoma a little bit too much already tonight. So 3 solid matches coming up for Spokane.
Cool. All right. Last match of week 5 was Saturday night, League One After Dark, 10:30 p.m. Eastern Time kickoff. Avialta in their home opener for league play against Westchester SC with a 2-0 victory.
Yeah, and it was early. This match was over early. Um, by the 27th minute, both goals for this match had been scored. Um, excuse me, the second one being scored by, stop me if you've heard this name before, but Jimmy Villalobos. Um, Shocking, I know, but um, yeah, I mean, just an all around good win for AV Alta against a tough Westchester club, especially when you kind of deep dive a little bit more into it. Westchester had the majority of the looks in this one. I mean, these guys put 19 shots in against AV Alta. Um, and they were playing against AV Alta, who was in this one decided early that they wanted to make this a physical match, and it seemed like it wanted to frustrate Westchester a little bit. And I think that is probably what ended up doing them in. Like AV Alta is a good team and a team that it seems like is coached well enough that they're going to be able to put together solid minutes against anybody in this league. And you flip the coin, I think Westchester is also a well coached team. I think it seems like they're a little bit less put together when it comes to composure in matches. It seems like they tend to get a little bit more caught up in um, trying to tactically break down the other team. Because if you look in this one, AV Alta frustrated them by committing 21 fouls in this match. And that's going to Westchester's 12. So AV Alta playing very physically in this, and Westchester not rising to meet that same level of intensity, but just trying the old fashioned way to just, we're going to play our game. They let them play their game. We're going to play ours. This one, it didn't work out. There are some things to be proud of, though. 19 shots, 4 shots on target, and a passing accuracy, which I haven't talked about a whole lot this season. I still keep my eye on it, but it seems like it's been a lot higher for the better teams this season. This one, 81% for Westchester. They looked all right. And then you turn and look at AV Alta, only 6 shots total. 4 of those were on target, so a much better percentage on that, and 80% passing accuracy in this one. We already talked about the 21 fouls and the 5 yellow cards. AV Alta, I have a feeling if we as we move forward in the season, watch AV Alta's yellow card accumulation. We're gonna have to keep a yellow card accumulation tracker somewhere on the screen for the next episode. See where they're sitting at, who's in trouble yet. Because we're only 5 weeks into the season and they committed a ton of fouls. So, um, yeah, this one not too shocking though. I think you really know what you're gonna get from AV Alta every time. And Westchester, I haven't watched them enough to get a complete grasp of what they're gonna do moving forward. But I mean, this match was over so early; it was really hard to get anywhere with it.
Yeah, this was two teams that had similar elements to their style. I don't want to say they were two of a kind facing each other, but they had two very similar elements. AV Alta from the get-go has been unapologetically saying we're going to dominate possession and we're going to have accurate passing. And they may not have dominated possession the way that they would have liked to. That is more credit to Westchester coming there trying to disrupt their flow there. But 81% accuracy with their passing, man, that's really good.
Yeah, I mean, to put that in perspective, usually towards the end of the season, I mean, those are end of season numbers for a lot of teams. Usually at this point in the season, when I was tracking it really deeply last season, we were seeing passing accuracy in the mid to low 70s at this point. So the fact that we're up in the 80s already for these two teams, I mean, that can only mean good things moving forward. And I mean, it's really one of two things. The best teams in this league right now are passing really well, and it's either due to the players knowing each other really well or just the quality of the players that we have in the league. I tend to think it's a little bit of both for both of these clubs.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm sitting here praising AD also for having 81% passing, but 82% for Westchester. So these are two teams equal in their possession, equal in their accuracy, going head to head. Now, I think you're on once again, I 100% agree with you when you said that AV Alta was disrupting play by committing so many fouls, keeping or preventing Westchester from establishing a rhythm, getting a good flow to the match. Um, yeah, I think that's going to be key to AV Alta's success. Dominate possession when you have it, and when you don't, bully the opponents until you get the ball back. I think that's just going to be the name of the game for them. So I agree with you. I think yellow cards are going to be a factor moving forward. We'll definitely have to keep track of that one as we go. But there was so much to praise on the pitch for this match, but at the same time, there's so much to praise off the pitch as well because this was a spectacle of a home opener, and it was sold out. Just the atmosphere in general was incredible. They had a guy on a horse with the flag that was freaking cool. They had tifo in the supporter section. Like I said, it was sold out. Just a great atmosphere. Fans like with the scarves swinging it above their heads. As AV Alta continues to remain undefeated at home, more and more fans are going to want to be a part of that. If you look at the wins they have at home, they defeated. Let me get into this document here. Um, Venture County Fusion in the first round of the Open Cup. Then their next match at home was in the second round of the Open Cup, where they defeated LAFC 2, which is a big win for them. And
Hmm.
then hosting Westchester in their league opener at home and defeating them, they're off to a great start there at their home stadium. Yes, it's a baseball stadium, but it's converted into a soccer specific stadium. So can't fault them for that.
No, yeah.
So great things coming out of AV Alta. I do think there was a post match quote from Miguel Ibarra in an article that was posted on the league website, I think. And Miguel Ibarra said, to put on this jersey and win our first match right here, representing my hometown, it's a dream come true. The energy from the fans was unreal. I've played in a lot of places, but this one hits different. This is for the AV. To have players in their hometown representing their hometown and getting a victory in a historic moment like that is just so cool.
Yeah. I mean, that's the greatest thing that you can do. Is to go to your hometown and be able to play in front of family, friends that you've known forever. I mean, that's like the dream, is to be able to do that and to get a win in the first one, especially in front of a sold out crowd. I mean, Miguel Ibarra, we already know dude's unreal. We've known that for a while now, but I think being at home in his actual hometown home, and I think it's just going to elevate his game to another level. Like, 'cause I mean, there's really no substitute for the kind of passion that you're going to get for putting on a jersey of your hometown and being the guy for your hometown.
Yeah. Yeah. Speaking of the guy for the hometown, in live chat, we have Yogi. Look at that. We got Yogi tuning in.
Yes. Yogi, who also got the very special shout out for the Henny Derby, showed him on screen and everything. It's one of my favorite things from that matchup that weekend. Always good to see Yogi in the chat.
Yeah,
And
last time I was with Tormenta, we were playing at Richmond. I was up in the press box and I was working alongside Caroline, and I saw Yogi on the other side of the press box, and I went over to say hi to Yogi, but then immediately turned back to Caroline and I said, Caroline, come meet Yogi. He's a celebrity. Like, come on over here. Yogi was very humble. He did not want to be called a celebrity, but if you are around League One culture, you know that Yogi's a celebrity. So yes, it's great to have him in the live chat.
very much.
All right, going back to the AV Alta Westchester match here, I do want to say you should keep an eye out for their center back, even though he was playing as the right back. I'm hoping I can get this. I looked up the pronunciation guide. It's Koloyan Pelivanov. I hope that's right. Anyways, he's a 6'3" defender from Bulgaria, has experience playing in their top division. Like I said, he normally plays center back, but he was playing as their right back. That's because of his athleticism. If you watch this guy play, he gets up and down the pitch. He's fast, he's physical, he wins his aerial duels. He's going to be one to watch moving throughout the season. Yeah, I just keep an eye out for this guy. He's going to be fun.
I mean, anytime you can get a guy that can play multiple positions in this league, I mean, superstar status, honestly.
Yeah. All right. At the end of week 5, when we look at the scoreboard, fans
Mm.
won with they won 3 points, having 2 results plus the exacto. I tied them for that result, so fans get the edge there. Brian, you had 2 results, so you can't fault yourself for that. You had just as many results as everybody else that you just didn't have any exactos, and you were so close because of the
I
Naples.
know. I know. Let's live by the sword, die by the sword, man. I mean, it's gonna be a close one. I think we're here in week 5 and we are this close still. I mean, I think it's gonna be a fight to the finish between the fans and you and I. So
Yeah.
I'm here for it, man.
Yep. Overall standings have fans with 12 points, Brian with 10, and me with 8. So I got some work to do. But With that in mind, we go straight into the week 6 match previews. We have 7 matches. Actually, we have 5 now because we had 2 on Wednesday. For the rest of the week, we have 1 on Friday, 3 on Saturday, 1 on Sunday. And in this week alone, we have 3 of the 4 quarterfinal matches from 2024 are happening this week. Now, we just had 2 of them last night in the Wednesday night matches, but we have another one coming up later on this weekend with Charlotte and Madison. But first matchup is, let's see. Oh, we can. Do you want to talk about Richmond Omaha? Is it this is your time?
Um, I mean, we will probably go over these ones. We can go over them kind of quickly.
Okay, cool.
These first two, because I'm sure we'll hit them up next week as well. Um, no, I don't want to. I don't want to talk about Omaha and Richmond. Um, no, I mean, look, Richmond came in and played the match that you play against Union Omaha. I mean, it was picture perfect. They came in, they frustrated Omaha, they caused bad passes, they caused bad first touches, and they honestly going into this, it looked like Richmond wanted this win more than Omaha did. I don't know what is going on with Omaha. In this one, I think it actually went down to Richmond played the game better. They played their brand of soccer better than Omaha played their brand of soccer. And that, I mean, we shouldn't be surprised by this Richmond team doing that. We've seen them do it before. Their problem has always been consistency in doing that. Um, but hey, it's the exact score line from the quarterfinals last year, just reversed. Richmond gets this one. So far this season, Richmond gets the last laugh in this one. Also, Omaha has not won in Richmond. So going into it, it's one of those things. It's Tormento's never beaten Omaha. Omaha's never won in Richmond. So that cycle continues.
So Yogi tuned in just in time to hear us talk about this match. Now you got Alex jumping in saying, "Why though?"
I figured it was coming eventually. And I wanted to like come out and be, well, this, that, yeah. No, Richmond just played a hell of a game. Like, I mean, sometimes you just get beat by the better team, and that's what happened in this one.
Yeah, I agree with you.
It
Richmond
happens.
was better.
Yeah.
Yeah,
uh, They looked really good doing it too. I'm really excited to see what this Richmond team does the rest of the season.
yeah, yeah. I think we
Quarterfinals last season, I think they are a solid playoff contender this season, especially with all of their pieces kind of coming back together, guys being off of injury, guys kind of hitting their stride as early as they have been hitting. I mean, this definitely going to be a team to watch out for, and maybe a dark horse for a home playoff.
did you see? I know that you and I were texting during the match. Did you see how much ground Maxi Schenfeld was covering?
Good lord,
Yes,
man.
he was playing left back, but he was all over the place.
Yeah, yeah. I I mean, what can you really say about the dude? He's had that motor. I mean, I think anybody who's watched League One long enough just remembers him. Um, it was back when like the FC Tucson days he was the same player. The dude has not changed, and it's been what year did Tucson leave? 21. So it's been 4 years now. The dude has the same motor that he had 4 years ago. I mean, insane.
I know I texted Brian and I said, like, what the hell is going on with Maxi? Like, you blink and he's on the other side of the pitch and he's like in somebody's face, and then you blink again and he's back in his left back position. Like, he
Hmm.
was just everywhere.
Yeah. And one thing too that I think really more teams in the league are going to kind of look at this season, Omaha's had issues being a hot-headed team. They had it a little bit last year, but I think this season it's a little bit more than it was last season. I think teams are going to be able to get into Union Omaha's head very easily. They have a lot of very passionate players on that team that don't really back down from anything for better or for worse, more times than not for worse. So, yeah, I think the blueprint is there. I think Richmond really showed the blueprint to beat Union Omaha this season in this match.
Yeah, and to have Dakota Barnathan playing central defensive midfielder, and then later on in the match subbing on Adrian Billhart and Emiliano Terzaghi at the same time. I even texted Brian. I was like, Emiliano Terzaghi and Adrian Billhart. Fuck.
Yeah, those are not two subs that you want to see if you're playing against Richmond. And
Yeah,
that just goes to show too that their bench is deep too. If you're bringing both of those guys off the bench, granted they're a little on the older side, so you kind of get it, but still coming off the bench, those two guys like big name players coming off your bench in crunch time, man, deep squad.
yeah. Well, this was Rashid Nuhu's first start of the season. How'd you feel?
It looks good. A lot Richmond definitely did what they were supposed to do. Listen, 26 is old in this league. I remember half of these teams are playing with academy kids that are 18, 19 years old. 26 is a dinosaur in those years. At least that's what I thought when I was 19. Um, uh, no, I thought Rashid Nuhu looks good. And I think it's something that Omaha kind of needed was their field general back out there. He faced a lot of shots early. I think that was another thing that Richmond did really well was put the pressure on him early on. And he didn't really crack under the pressure. And with Richmond's attack, that's quite a praise for a guy coming off of an injury and coming into goal in City Stadium, right next to that insane Red Army crowd. So, um, yeah, I thought he looked good, but not good enough in the end.
One of my favorite things to do whenever I'm watching a Richmond match is watching the Red Army, especially during corner kicks,
Oh man,
because they will lean as far as possible over the barrier to get in that player's ear and just get in their head. I love
yep.
it. And Alex, I saw you in that group. You were in there. I saw you, man.
Yeah, Alex said he picked Omaha to win. So did I, but it happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, there's also another match on Wednesday, same time, which again, thank you, League One. Um, but Greenville and Knoxville comes out with the victory, 1-0. So, um, I don't remember. I'm pretty sure I picked Knoxville in this one, but I don't
Yeah.
remember. Um, I think I said 2-1 though. I think I said 2-1 for both of these. So, yeah, didn't pick the score correctly in either of these, but did actually get 1 point in the standings. Um, and I'm going to be completely honest. I have not watched the replay of this one yet because I was watching Richmond and Omaha. So
Yeah.
I don't have a whole lot to say about it yet. I will next week when I actually get a chance to rewatch it.
Yeah. Half of their last six meetings. So they've had in their last six meetings, three of them have had meaning. So they met twice in the Open Cup. They met in the playoffs. And then, they meet here in the regular season. But man, they just keep finding each other. I will say, though, if you are getting into a one goal difference match, you do not want it to be against one Knox.
True.
Yeah. If you want to beat one Knox, you got to score early and you got to score it often. All right. With that said, we have four more matches, five matches the rest of this weekend. So let's go through those really quick here. Friday at 7, tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Eastern Time kickoff. Ooh, Alex is saying, go watch Jordan Skelton's stoppage time save. Ooh, yeah, I'll have to now.
Definitely gonna have to.
All right, tomorrow night, Charlotte is hosting Ford Madison. What you got?
Um, yeah. This one's tough, man. I mean, you're gonna have Ford Madison and Charlotte, two teams that I think I'm gonna need to see a few more matches out of both of them to really kind of pinpoint what I think about both of them on a more concrete level, other than, yeah, they seem pretty good. Um, this one, it's in Charlotte, so Madison making the flight down Friday tomorrow at 7 p.m. Geez. Yeah, I don't have strong feelings either way in this one. Um, I do think it's going to be a little bit more difficult for Charlotte to get that scoring going uh, this early after their pickup and signing. So, uh, in this one, I do think I'm going to lean towards Ford Madison, and I like it in a close one. I think they get it done 1-0.
Yeah, this is a match that features a lot of cards historically. So I think that'll definitely be a huge um, issue in this match. But playing in Charlotte, I have more faith in Madison's offense than I do Charlotte's offense.
Yep,
So I'm going to side with you. I'm going to go with Madison, but I'm going to go. I'm going to go 2-0. How about that?
yep. I could also see
I've
that
been
as well.
choosing a, I've been choosing a lot of 2-0 score lines this season. It's weird.
We're
I need
still
to.
so early. If that's
Yeah,
usually at this point of the season, 2 goals to nil is a pretty decent one to be choosing.
yeah. All right. The first match of Saturday night is FC Naples hosting Richmond Kickers, 7 p.m. Eastern Time kickoff. This is at FC Naples.
Mhm. Yeah, I think these two teams are two very evenly matched teams. It seems like 1 and 2 in the table right now. I think Richmond is going to gain a bit of confidence from the way they won that Omaha match, and they're playing on a short week for this one, going down to face FC Naples. It's going to be tough for me to pick against FC Naples, really against anybody at this point. And then you throw the fact that Richmond just played a game against Omaha that they were very physical in. Um, I feel like FC Naples is going to have the edge in this one, but I do think Richmond is going to score, and I think they're going to score first. But I think FC Naples is eventually going to take it over. But I like FC Naples 3-1.
Oh, 3-1. Okay. So both teams across all competitions have only been held scoreless once. For FC Naples, that was when they hosted Portland Hearts of Pine. For Richmond, it was when they went to Charlotte. So both teams certainly know how to score. Um, yeah, granted, Richmond did have a bye week last week, so having a double this week isn't terrible, but still having a double. And they had to fight pretty hard in that Omaha match last night. I agree with you. I'm going to side with Naples in this one. I agree with you. Also, I do think that Richmond's going to score. So I'm going to go, instead of Naples 3-1, I'm going to go Naples 2-1.
I figured that's probably what your call was going to be. That's why I went with 3-1.
You gave me the
See,
cushion, so I took it.
I did give you the cushion. I feel like it's only the right thing to do when I usually pick them first off for all of these. So
All right. Only half hour later, we have another Saturday night matchup. Tormenta hosting Portland in Statesboro.
Yeah. Listen, I think Portland is going to gain a lot of confidence. Even though it's a draw, I think that's a confidence building draw. Um, Tormenta though scores a lot. Sitting on 7 goals for this season already, but Portland yet to give up a goal as well. So it's going to be best on best in this one, I think. I know I'm going to get hate in the chat for this one, but I do like Portland. There's just something about this team that I like. I think when it clicks, it's really going to click. Um, so I do like Portland in this one, and I do think they get another shutout. I think they win 1-0.
Wow. Okay. All right. Um, Tormenta's at home. They've been sitting around that 2 goals per match mark. Um, I am gonna say 2-0 for Tormenta.
That's fair.
Oh,
I
I
mean,
don't know if I want to do that.
I can see it going that way as well, honestly. Tormenta scores a lot of
Oh,
goals. I just have confidence in Portland's defense.
all right. Screw it. I said it. Let's move on. I'm locking it in. All right, late night Saturday match. Another home match for Avialta, this time hosting Chattanooga Red Wolves. This will be a fun one.
Now, this one I think is going to end up being a barn burner match. I think
Yeah,
both of these teams are going to come out and want to put the ball towards the net early and often. Um, you're going to see a lot of shots in this one. You're going to see a lot of physical play between these two teams. I'd put the over under in yellow cards at 5 on this one. And if I was a betting man, I'd take the over. But I think it's going to be a physical match. I think both teams are going to look to kind of ignite an offensive attack from start to finish here. I think it's going to happen, but I do like AV Alta at home, especially with the display that they put on last week. It's going to be hard to argue against them, but I like AV Alta in this one 3-2.
3-2. Nice. Yeah, I agree with you. I think Avialta is heading into this one confident. They're undefeated at home. Um, in 3 matches, they've only given up 2 goals. Chattanooga on the road for league matches has only scored 1 goal. At the same time, they've only allowed 1 goal. But with Avialta's physical style of play matching up with Chattanooga's, that's going to yield a lot of yellow cards. Obviously, Avialta is also going to dominate with possession. I don't think Chattanooga is going to be as protective of the ball as Avialta will. So I think Avialta is going to have more offensive chances. I think it's going to be a close one. I'm going to give the edge. I'm going to go with you. I'm going to say Avialta. Um, but I'm still going to go 2-1 for Avialta.
Yeah, so still a single digit win, but just leaning a little bit more towards that.
Yeah. Player of the week, Jimmy Villalobos. Don't fail me, man. When you and I were having that discussion for player of the week, we had a list ready to go. And then you and I were both like, Jimmy Villalobos.
Yeah, I think we were both texting that to each other at the same time because yours came in and then
Yeah.
mine went. Mine, I didn't look at yours, kept texting, finished it, sent it, and I was like, oh, yeah, great minds think alike.
There we go. No discussion needed.
No.
Boom. All right. Finishing off week 6, Sunday night, 7 p.m. Eastern time kickoff. Spokane hosting Texoma.
Yeah, I'm not gonna fluff this one too much. I like Spokane 3-0. I think they're gonna hold possession of the ball. They're gonna be able to move it around on Texoma. I don't see a way Texoma gets out of this one.
I'll take. I'm not going to do much fluffing in this one either. I'm going to say Spokane 2-0. Yeah. Outside of that, we have a bunch of Open Cup matches next week on Tuesday and Wednesday. So make sure you're watching out for those. We have 5 League One teams on Tuesday and then 4 on Wednesday. All of them are against championship clubs.
USL One versus the world. Keep it going.
Yeah. And I think I also saw that, yeah, all the championship clubs that are going up against League One teams, this is their first match in the Open Cup.
Yep. This was the first round they came in. Yep.
Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah. I think there's definitely some big ones. I think for my money, there are 2 that are really circled on mine. On Tuesday, that's Charlotte versus North Carolina FC. That's former USL League One North Carolina FC versus current League One Charlotte Independence. It's the Dogwood Derby. Rematch of the 2023 League One final. And they also play 10 days later in the Jägermeister Cup. Gotta love the Jägermeister Cup for this stuff. Yeah, this is that for me on Tuesday is the must watch if I was not going to be at Caniglia to watch Union Omaha take on San Antonio. But Wednesday, I have to watch FC Naples take on Tampa Bay Rowdies. That I mean, for this round, that is my match to watch. If I could not watch another match the rest of this week, that would be the one I would watch.
I also think Colorado Springs Switchbacks against One Knox, that's going to be a good one too.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, there's some.
That one I like. I mean, there's not really a bad one in any of these. I mean, all of these matches are going to be good ones, but excuse me, definitely gonna like to see how that Colorado Springs side deals with that physical and tough One Knox defense.
Yeah. And then Charleston Battery hosting Tormenta. That'll be a good one. Alta hosting Orange County. That'll be a good one. Like there's just some good matchups in
Yeah.
this third round.
Yes. And then
Should be a good one.
I just for shits and giggles want to see, I mean, I want to see all the League One teams win, but just for a little bit of online shit talking, I would love Westchester to go into Detroit City and beat them up pretty good. I can only imagine the completely sane and logical takes that are going to come out of their supporters group if they lose to Westchester.
So true. All right. Well, looks like we don't have any other questions in the live chat, so we can go ahead and start wrapping up. You got anything else, Brian?
I do not. League One versus the world. There's gonna be some good matchups this weekend. I'm hoping that I can make a bit of a comeback in the standings here. 2 points behind. I think I might be able to make that up this weekend.
Let's hope so.
I think I'm gonna need some
It's gonna be another
exactos though.
It's going to be another exciting week of League One action, both this weekend, as well as U.S. Open Cup. So make sure you're tuning into every single one of those matches, or at least whichever you can. Whether it's ESPN, whether it's Paramount Plus, whether it's CBS Sports Golazo Network, tune in to all the USL League One action, as well as all the USL action as a whole, if you get a chance to check out any championship matches as well. Until next week, my name is Rich. You can find me on Twitter and Blue Sky at I'm Rich But I'm Not. That is Brian. You can find him on Twitter at Mediocre Grace. We will see you next week.
Thanks, guys.